As soon as this man appeared, it attracted the attention of all FPs. He is the legendary king of soft rice. I saw him shaking his charming buttocks, the strong muscles of the wind-s. I saw him jump into the water, picking up the bangs of the wet deer and walking to the rich woman. The eyes are blurred and the corners of the mouth are raised. As long as you seize the opportunity to move into the big villa overnight. He succeeded. His name is Maximo from Latin America. Why did he follow this path? This starts from his miserable childhood. Mark's father is a tanker truck driver. Overworked all day long. It's hard to take a vacation this day. The family waited for him to come home at the door, but he fell asleep due to fatigue driving. The car crashed into the house and the two vehicles exploded. Mark witnessed his father's tragic experience with his own eyes. Apart from grief, the brothers and sisters have their own ideals. Sister dreams of becoming an architect. Build a beautiful and sturdy house for the family. And Mark pointed to the photo in the magazine and said, he vowed to be the person on the cover. But the one behind. Many years later, Mark's dream came true. Marry a rich woman and become the man behind a successful woman. Led a prosperous life. In a blink of an eye, 25 years have passed, FP is already high. Getting weaker day by day. Mark wakes up first thing every morning. Just take a small mirror to test if she is still alive. Seeing that there is still a breath of FP heavy makeup, Mark breathed a sigh of relief. Started a day of luxury and happiness. A huge swimming pool specially built for him. Even if you take a bath, someone will take care of it. And the villa is too big. Mark had to use a balance car to travel. This is his 2 wedding anniversary. FP gave Mark another famous watch. But Mark was not satisfied that he said he wanted a 2 supercar. FP said okay Tilda wait for me to go upstairs to get the bag. 121,212. After a few hours, the two finally arrived at the car shop. I saw the guy selling the car as a master chatter. Speaking of a set. The rich lady's joy is blooming. This man just dragged home. I saw a supercar parked in front of the door. When I entered the house, it turned out to be the guy who sold the car. The rich woman took advantage of him not at home. I don't know what I did with the guy just now. I'm lying on the sofa and taking oxygen. Mark saw this posture like 5 thunders. Since the two signed a prenuptial agreement, Mark failed to get a peace. Was ruthlessly kicked out of the house. In this way, Mark started a wandering life. He is holding his beloved balance bike, standing on the street carrying a box. This is the only valuable item on his body. However, as soon as he turned around, the balance bike was about to be carried away. The suitcase here is about to be picked up. Who doesn't have a daughter to eat soft rice with youth? Mark has only been squandering these years without a skill. How to live in the future has become the biggest problem. And the guy who sold the car just now, after waking up, used the mirror to test. Then ushered in the pinnacle of life. Mark is lucky to think about it this way. Homeless Mark. I had to find my sister. Since he became rich, I broke contact with my sister. So he doesn't even know how old his nephew is. But seeing him so desolate, he still took him in. My sister said, I suggest you find a job. But Mark replied, it's impossible to work part-time. It's impossible to work part-time in this life. Helpless not to work, I will be swept out. So Mark took a human outdoor publicity event. Wearing a red dress, I almost stand there and fall asleep. What is annoying is that there is a competitor on the opposite side, watching his tricky movements. Mark decided to compare him. See people superbly play billboards. And he flung the sign off as soon as he got started. It happened to hit the windshield of a police car. Invisible. They knocked down an old man in a wheelchair. But they didn't touch porcelain and they got up and said, it's okay and then set off again. Seeing here Mark is really scared. Quickly slipped away this day when Mark sent his nephew to school. I found out that he has been in a crush on a girl Xiaoya. But due to differences in conditions, I feel low self-esteem. Isn't it a coincidence that I dare not confess this? This is your Uncle Yi's unique skill, even more coincidentally. Xiaoya's grandma turned out to be a wealthy woman. Rich and enemy, the country's FP is approaching half a 100s period. In order to get close to Xiaoya's grandma, I have to help with this. Mark teaches his nephew to take extraordinary steps. Sure enough, Xiaoya's eyes were attracted. Same recipe, same operation. This set of moving movements. Useful for any opposite sex. After he lifted his bangs, Xiaoya invited him to a birthday party. In order to have soft rice. The old man in front of him tattooed his brain. I chose out-of-date swimwear and sunglasses. Clean up in the mirror. At this point Mark found himself completely smoked and roasted bacon. Light dyed hair is not acceptable. Because the chest hair and beard are all white. At this time he found shoe polish on the side. So think about it. He made a mess of the countertop after he left. The waiter was extremely impressed by him. Mark stepped out of the disapproval of his 6 relatives. Attracted everyone's attention as soon as he appeared on the stage. The fat on that body and the shoe polish that was not evenly applied. Self-confidence from nowhere. Mark also thinks he is the most respected in the pool. He plunged into the pool. Black shoe polish under the impact of water. A large area of black in an instant. Some people thought he pulled a tuba in the water. Poor Mark didn't know. Leisurely swimming in the water. After going ashore, the shoe polish slapped his face. Sliminess keeps him from opening his eyes. He could only ask everyone with half his eyes. Did I let you s? Scared the lady's face to pale. FP's personal bodyguard had to ask him out. And what he did. It made my nephew very sad, so he helped himself. Just to get close to FP. My sister is also very angry. He is really faceless and skinless. So he drove his profitable brother out of the house. Mark also feels sorry for his nephew. So I wrote a sincere letter for him. After giving it to Xiaoya. Successfully restored Ren Zi's friendship. 2 months later my sister suddenly got promoted and raised. The boss gave her a big project. It is said that the investor is a female boss. Powerful and unfathomable. My sister finally saw her this day. Sure enough. Her husband got off the plane. Looks like a professor. Take a closer look, it turned out to be his own brother. After Mark left his sister's house, I met Xinhuan soon. Embarked on another peak of life. The movie is over, choice is more important than hard work. If one day, you don't want to work hard, want to go to sugar daddy, must be because you discovered this cruel reality. A low-level ordinary person can never achieve a leap in material life. Must have big money support. It is possible to be successful. So, all comedies are derived from tragedies. This is the truth that happiness creates sorrow. Pay attention to us. See you next time.